All right, welcome back to the now Ghost of Lion's Den. I am, of course, your host, the Lion, and today we're going to be tackling male loneliness epidemic. Now, I have a host today, not necessarily live, right? But he will be helping us today with a couple of topics and questions. Now, let's go ahead and jump in. Male loneliness epidemic, right? What is this? Well, the widening singlehood gap of today. This ain't just about dating. It's a massive shift on how men and women are interacting and failing to do so in the modern world, which means today, right? So, dating recession and social burnout, the struggles, the lore, the rift. We're going to talk about all of that, and I'm going to give you the answers, all right? Now, there's one thing called the manual paradox, of course. It's a paradox, like I've been saying all along. Now, let's go ahead and jump in to what the struggle is, right? Men report being told to do better without a clear guide on what that looks like. That's the paradox. Basically, women, because it is women, and society telling men to do better, but there is no guide on how that looks like or how to do. But fear not, that is why I am here to show you, right? I am here to give you the manual, the guide, the answers, everything you need, right? Moving forward. I have been trying in my past videos, right? But it's just a damn hassle trying to do video and audio and record and all that. I got a shitty camera, but that's not the excuse, right? Well, actually, that is an excuse, but enough about that. We're just gonna go ahead and do just basic, simple podcast that you can listen to. Watch this screen here, right? But you can listen to and pay attention, right? Anyways, to go back to the paradox and the struggle, which is what I'm trying to explain here, right? That it's basically a contradiction, right? The lore suggests that men feel pressured to be emotionally open but not weak, ambitious but not controlling, right? So you see how what I'm saying, and you can go back to all my videos. It is indeed a paradox. That does not mean there's not an answer or a manual or a how-to. As a matter of fact, the secret is right there in front of you. It's the paradox itself. Because what is this saying? Now, I've been trying to explain this because, again, it's the big problem that the manosphere seems to always overlook or not understand or forget or, not at all see. But here we go. The reactions, right? This has led to the rise in the manosphere. Influencers who exploit this vulnerability, often stirring up more resentment rather than solving the connections and gap. Now, this is what I've been saying all along. It's only women bashing, right? Because they are frustrated and don't understand the truth or can't see the realities of the paradox, right? Now, go back real quick, right, to the do better, right, without actually being told how. Well, that's part of the paradox. Now, here's the answer, real quick, from me, the Lion, your host, right? It's pretty simple, right? It really is, which is what makes it hard. But it basically is, the answer's right there because you think about it. A woman's saying do better, but she can't tell you how. That is the actual answer. That's the point, all right? Understand that within the paradox, there is a rule. What's the rule? The rule is that she can't tell you how to do better because then you can't get the credit for doing better. You understand? That's a simple thing that hopefully blows your mind if you made it this far, right? If you are interested at all, right, in my teachings, because that's what it is. And I know some of you, right, not all of you, but some of you, and I'm not saying you, my viewers, my loyal subscribers, right, that have stuck with me since the beginning. I'm talking about people in general, right? Guys in general that don't seem to understand this, right? That have all sorts of damn excuses rather than to just listen to the simple answer that I just gave you right there, right? Which I know sounds like a bunch of damn mumbo jumbo, but trust me, right? There it is. That's simple, the answer. So we're going to slow it down, okay? It really comes down to this, all of it, pretty much all of it, which I will explain in due time. And I'm going to start to now, right? Because moving forward, these are the videos that I'm going to be doing, right? Just a simple podcast, because I've tried everything to get a host and all this, and it's just too damn complicated. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't want to talk. They don't have the nads to jump on board, right? And I don't want to deal with all that for now, right? Eventually, I will find a good co-host or what is he called? Guest, right? At some point, and get a better camera, right? Give you some good production quality. Working on that as we speak. But for now, let's finish up today's episode. Okay, so do better, right? A woman will say do better, but she'll never tell you why. Well, again, the answer is there. It's right there, right? And it's so simple. Again, it's just you got to look at the paradox, which is the mind-blowing part. This is what separates me from the manosphere and every other guru online. I'm explaining to you the actual problem, right? Which is not even you. It's the system, which again, the problem is resolved by itself because the answer is within the system itself. That's the paradox, all right? The true paradox. Now, understand, do better, but she doesn't tell you how, right? The answer is right there. Why? Because you must look at why the system is like this, right? And then you come up with the answer. This is where I'm giving you the answer. Okay? So do better. And she will never tell you why, and she can't. That's part of the system. Okay? She can't tell you that because then she can't give you the credit. Because if she told you how to do it, right? How to do better, how to make her feel right, right? How to touch her, right? How to kiss her, right? And all sorts of things fall into this realm of how to whisper in her ear, from that to how to look at her, to how to walk her down the street, to how to literally ask a question. All of this she could explain to you, but then if she did, you wouldn't get the credit, and therefore you are eliminated within the same system of the paradox, and you are not suitable for her as the man you wish to be. That, my friends, is how simple it really is, right? So there you go. If you made it this far, I gave you a freebie. I should end it there because then it would be a long ass podcast, and well, I don't know if you guys have the attention span, right? But I hope you do. And if you do, right, well, you can help me help you by liking, sharing, and subscribing. You can also buy me a coffee, right? Link is somewhere in my page there. I need to revamp all this, and which is a work in progress. But anyways, I guess we can do some more. I got some time here, so all right. So my host here is giving me a question, which I hope you guys are interested in, right? Which might be part of the next episode, right? Which are they're not episodes. That's more of little, right, clips, answering questions here and there that I think are 100% important, right? And I don't think, I know they are the most important thing that you can learn in this name of game, right? Or in this case, this chess game of love and war. All right. So my host here is asking me, what would be a better, or what do you think is better to the listeners? In this case, you guys, the best question. What do you prioritize, or what you should prioritize? Is it safety or a spark in a relationship-based situation? Now, this can be applied to, for those that are big business gurus, right, and all that. How do you apply this to a relationship-based, right? Well, pretty simple. You got to prioritize one of these. And this is how it works, okay? And it goes back to a paradox because it is a paradox, okay? Safety. So when you're going in to like talk to a girl, right? A woman, and you want to obviously date her, here's what's crazy. She knows and you know, right? You both know. But in order for you to make the move, you prioritize safety. However, the paradox dictates that you need the spark, right? You need the spark to accomplish said mission. However, you need the safety, right? At least most men say, to go in and start the spark in the first place. So see how it becomes a paradox once again. Because if you don't have the spark, right, all the safety in the world means not a damn thing, because it means she's not interested, right? But then again, in order for you to start the damn spark, you need the safety, right? Or at least you believe you need the safety to go in and try to start a spark. And by this, I mean the whole dating and relationship and all that. You want to get to know this girl. You see? So once again, it's a paradox, all right? Now, all right, let's see. The lore of the spark. So I'm going to give you a little, I guess, back history, since my host here, co-host, is giving me a little bit of help, right, with these questions. So he writes, historically, we have been told the spark is everything. The lightning bolt, the chemistry. But is the modern archives, the spark is often a ghost, right? It's exciting, but it's also what leads people straight into the jaws of the predator. Yes. So this is what we would call the, or in woman world, right? It's the, she fell for the trap, right? There was a spark and the chemistry at the beginning, but it all fell apart, right? That's what that is. Now, the reality of the safety. Right now, safety is the winning the trend war, of course, because most guys want the safety. Again, they prioritize the safety. The gendering men, right, whatever that means, and peace over partnership being the massive movements they are. Most women and increasing numbers of men are looking for the safe harbor rather than the wildfire. If there's no emotional safety, the spark just feels like a warning sign. This is all the damn red flags, right? Which is what I just said earlier. How, well, in the beginning, I liked them or whatever. That's why you can, if I had a dime for every time a woman said, in the beginning, he seemed nice, right? He was cool, and then he would fucking turn out to be boring or whatever the hell. Or some creep. Right? But those are the red flags. So the safety is, again, prioritized by both men and women. But understand what I'm trying to teach you. This ain't about men and women. It's about you, my viewers. The man. Okay? You're supposed to be the man. Now, the paradox dictates, and we'll end with this for today, since I'm doing a test run here for this new type of episode. I'm going to have a better visual for you than just outside my window here in my spaceship, right? All right, where was I? Lost track just like that, right? Of course I was gonna botch it. Remember, this is live. We're doing it live, damn it. Anyways, like I was saying, men and women are prioritizing the safety part, but again, it's the paradox, right? Now, what's the paradox mean? And it dictates everything I've been saying, right? Now, in order for you to be the man, like I was saying, in order for you to be the man, safety goes right out the damn window. That is the problem, okay? Now, most of these men, right, which goes back to the beginning of today's show, / episode, it goes back to the beginning of what I said. The first paradox, which, let me look it up, since, remember, all this is like complicated, but I haven't, just don't want to seem like I'm stuttering or say something that is inconsistent, right? As they say. All right, where did I leave it? Yeah. Of course, this is where I lose a couple of subscribers, right? Because they don't got the patience. The first paradox. Where the hell did I leave it? I want to be accurate. That's why. Oh yeah, be good. All right. It's to be good, but they don't tell you how. All right. This is where that connects to this. This that I'm saying now about being a man and safety. It's the same thing. Basically being good, being a right option and all this, but they don't tell you how, is that they're saying that to be a man. However, same thing here, right? You're being a man, but you're choosing safety, which prevents you from being the man. Same thing with when a woman says, I want you to do better, but she can't tell you how, because if she did, then you are no longer a man. That's how it works, okay? Same thing here. It goes right back to the same thing I told you. If you prioritize safety over the spark, you are not being the better man. As a matter of fact, you can't be a good or at least a better man, right? Because you chose safety. That is, I know how it sounds, right? Yeah, but that is indeed weak, right? Weak coming from a man, because you're supposed to be the better man. See what I'm saying? And that is where most guys struggle. And I never seen or haven't seen no podcast talk about this at all, but my own. Right? It seems like I'm alone in this. But there you go, right? Now, understand. You got to be the man. But if all things considering, right, and you're putting everything, you're doing the math, and you know, well, would a man choose safety over the spark? Now, of course, some guys will, oh, well, see, a man, you gotta be a leader, and you gotta choose, obviously, safety, you gotta live to fight another day. Yes, that is true. But in the name of love and war, you need the spark. Understand? You need the spark to get the victory. So you cannot play it safe, right? Of course, you can play it safe, but you cannot in this particular situation where you need the spark. Understand? So, again, what would be the better man? And I'll end with this for today's program, right? What would be the better man? So let's tackle this and basically get the answer, right? Simple. So, what indeed would be the better man? Well, the one that goes for the spark, because the spark is needed above the safety, and it takes care of the check marks of are you a man? Well, yes, because you were willing to go for the spark instead of safety. All right. Not to mention, if you get the spark, which ultimately you do get the spark because you chose the spark over the safety, which again, I know it's hard, but trust me, stay with me here. It's part of the paradox, right? So you choose the spark. That makes you ultimately a better man over every other guy that chooses the safety. So there you go, right? It's just one of those leap of faith. But I'm telling you, I've done the math. This is how it's done, okay? That's how you get the spark. And yes, a woman would say, well, I fell right into the jaws of the predator. But again, she fell, right? That's the point, right? The spark, while yes, bunch of damn red flags and all that, but there's a reason they're red flags. That's my point, right? Women use all of this to be red flags because they fall into the jaws of the predator. See what I'm saying? But that's the point. They fall. It's the, well, what would you rather do, right? It's another paradox, right? To live and love, or to have not loved at all. Which one's better? Well, again, it depends on, do you want to do the spark or not, or you want false safety? Well, I don't want to fail, so I rather not even try to start with the fucking spark. Well, that makes you a failure, right? But anyways, that's a whole nother paradox, and I could go on and on. All right, my host take here I think listeners value the safety more, of course, but they still crave the spark. Well, yes, because it's needed. The most successful, right? Lion's Den survivor. That would be us. Survivors are the ones who realize the true safety allows for a better spark. You can't enjoy the fire if the whole house is burning down, right? Now, of course, he ends this with a question mark, as if for me to answer it. And yes, I am going to answer it. What he's saying there, believe it or not, is also interesting because its true safety allows for a better spark. Well, what does he mean by true safety? Understand again, I'm a master in psychology. Now, he could have said safety allows for a better spark. Instead, he said true safety allows for the better spark. Now, what is the true safety? Well, here you go, and we'll end with this for reals this time, right? What is the true safety? The true safety is choosing wisely, choosing the truth, choosing the right answer, even though it seems like it's the bad answer. Again, all of this that I teach, right, that I'm starting to go all into the nitty gritty, right, because I've promised this long enough. So it's time, okay? So the true nitty gritty in this situation is that the true safety is to choose the spark over the safety, period, right? That gives you the true safety because now you know the how to. Understand, I wrapped it up nicely into a bow as a gift to you, my new subscribers and my loyal subscribers, and you future subscribers that are now interested and all in, right, in this project of mine. The true safety to this, right, is to choose the spark over the safety. Why? Because it's the how to overcome this obstacle we started here today, right? Which is indeed be better, do better, but they don't tell you how. Well, the secret is there all along. It was there, right? It's to choose the spark over the safety every single time. You understand? Which indeed is the true safety, right? And I know again how it sounds. I'm mean, mumbo jumbo here and mumbo jumbo, but trust me, if you sit down for 1 second and just really truly think, okay, that is the true safety. It's the true answer to all of this, okay? Because if you're looking for safety, then you're doing the wrong thing. See, spoiler alert, right? You're doing the wrong thing and therefore overlook the mission itself. So there you go. I hope you liked today's episode. Again, I'm gonna work on the visual here. Give you a better atmosphere, right? And we're gonna talk about this and more. Next level. Again, if you want to help me help you, share, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you think this is interesting, if you think this can help somebody, right? Some guy that's desperate enough to try this next level game for the betterment of him and his situation. Someone who's going through, right, the shitter, as they say, right? Someone that's losing all or has lost all, right? Bring them right over here to the true answer, or you can let them fall to all the other guru scams out there, right? I know how that sounds, all the other ones, like I'm one too, right? But no, you got the answer here, like I promised all along. So anyways, you can leave a comment down below. I will check it out, right? Help me help you by helping me build this up. Again, these are the topics, next level. I break it down. I show you where it fits, how it works. All right? There you go, right? So, all of this is, like I said before in the past, very, very simple, but that's what makes it hard. Because how do you hide something? Right? At least the best way to hide it is to hide it in plain sight. And that's what this is. So anyways, there you go. I will see you in the next episode of The Now Ghost of Lions Den. I am your host, and I'll see you on the next one.